Welcome to Between Escrows. I am one of your hosts, Amy Scruggs, and this is
Roger Savvy, Ambassador of Optimism, and you surely have landed at the right place.
This is the show for you if you are interested in growing your relationship building, your sales, your understanding of your business, and how to grow and be stable and enjoy it with the Ambassador of Optimism. I am a branding coach. You are at the right place. We have amazing episodes coming up. You don't want to miss it. Yes,
Hello.
yes. You are
Yes.
here. You have made it. We are here. I love this.
Amy,
I
good
don't
to
know
see
how I
you
want to put
again.
this together. Roger, it's so good to see you. For
Always
all
good
of
to
you
see
joining us live, welcome to Between Escrows. And you're with us as Roger and I also exchange our pleasantries because we don't get to see each other like this very often. So we'll let you join in just a second. This episode, if you are watching live, I hope so, because it's more fun and then you can go into the comments, ask questions. But we're literally talking about bees, goats, and real estate. And I'm super excited. And now I just found out in show prep that there's a lot more animals to discuss. But I promise this will be relevant to you if you are in the real estate and lending industry, really any industry that you're dealing with human beings and sales and being a leader and making a difference on this planet. Then you are in the right place. My fellow co-host, Roger Savvy, how are you today?
Amy, it's always good to see you. I'm doing great. How about you?
Yes, I am on a roll today. So I have been really looking forward to this, as you can tell.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it too, and I'm so excited to introduce our guest today.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's dive in.
Yeah, Amy, I've known Randy Coffman for a long time, and I could give you the resume, more than 40 years in real estate, top producer, manager, community leader, beekeeper, goat raiser, coach. But that wouldn't really tell you who Randy is, because Randy is one of those people you tend to hear before you see him. Why? That laugh of his travels, right?
Honestly, I don't know. And I know because just backstage before we started, I was laughing so hard my jaw hurts now. So I'm ready.
Yeah. And Randy loves a good joke. He loves people. He loves his family, loves his community. And I think more than anything, he has spent a lifetime, Amy, just showing up. And I've watched him. There's something else about Randy over the years. He'll hear the other person's side. He gives people the benefit of the doubt. And when Randy tells you he's going to do something, you can pretty much, Amy, take that to the bank. So Randy and I have traveled a few miles together. We're friends. We've agreed on plenty. We've bumped heads occasionally. And I'm very grateful through all of that, our friendship has endured. And he was right then as well. So I want to interview the man all those years in real estate has created.
Yay!
Yes, Randy,
Welcome to
my
the
buddy,
show.
welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here today.
Now, Randy, before Amy asks you the intelligent questions, I need to establish something. Of all the things you've successfully managed over the years, hundreds of realtors, 3 children, goats, thousands of bees, which group was the hardest to keep under control?
Without a doubt, real estate agents. If you've ever attempted to herd cats, that's our lovely real estate agents. So, and I love them dearly.
Gosh. I really thought he was going to say the kids. You surprised me on that.
It's only my children that have always been the challenge. All the kids I coached and stuff, it's fun. They're now coming to me, and one of them called me up 2 years ago and goes, "Hey, coach, I saved up enough money to buy a house, and you're going to sell me my first house." And it's the most wonderful feeling you could possibly have.
You're absolutely right.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, Amy, with your permission,
live, we have you can make comments, put questions. I'm going to put them here. We will answer them, or just give us a shout out. Let us know you're here and where you're watching. And if you're watching this on the replay, that's okay. Send us a message. We want to hear from you.
Yeah. Oh, we're always so grateful to have you in control, Amy. You make this look so seamless, and you're so good. With your permission, can I jump in and ask Randy a question?
He's all yours.
All right, Randy. When I look at your life, there seems to be a common denominator. You show up for kids, you show up for community, organizations, agents, clients, friends. Where did that come from? Who taught you that a good life is spent giving something away?
You know, I think I've always enjoyed helping people and getting people to the next level, even when I was younger in sports and that. But one of my mentors in real estate, and I was about 24, 25 years of age when I started, Harry Polly. It was Polly and Matson.
Yeah.
Harry told me one day, he goes, Randy, I believe you're going to be in this business for a long time. And he goes, there's something important that I want to share with you. Real estate will give you a lot if you give to it. And the community will give you a lot. You have a responsibility to give back to the community. And I took that wholeheartedly, you know, from my work with child development centers. I merged the nonprofit from the junior college and merged it in with the college. We were a Title V, actually child development in that. Coached my first football team for City League when I was 17, and I was going to Sac State. I skipped a year in high school and went right to Sac State. You know, coached the community football team and loved it. Love giving back to kids. It's funny, I was an only child, raised as an only child. I have now discovered that I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, which we've met a couple, and that's been a whole good change in life.
Wow.
You know, and kids and dogs, I just love. So what are you going to do?
Wow, that's just amazing. And you've coached kids. You've worked with children in need. You've raised goats, and somehow you became the beekeeping guy as well. So I've got to ask you, what have bees taught you about people?
Ooh.
That's a really good question, because, you know, it's one sticking together. Remember that a hive is run by the queen. So remember your queen, take care of her, be gentle, behave yourself.
Yep.
And you know, when you look at real estate and you look at a swarm where people are making a move, you know, and first that queen with a group of bees takes off, lands on a tree, and then the other bees come with it. They join together, they work together until they can find their new home. So there's a lot of correlation between bees finding a new home as they get too large for their current habitat and finding a new place to live.
And there's obviously a lot of symbiosis and harmony in that hive. They seem to communicate often.
They communicate, and, you know, there's a special feeling like there's some pictures and stuff with me in a suit or in clothes like I am today, and walking up to a hive of bees, you know, a swarm of bees that's left the original hive, and scooping them up and taking them home, or just literally standing in the middle of them and having them swarm around you. And there's something incredibly peaceful about their hum and about the feeling you get. It's very zen. It's kind of a euphoric feeling when you're in the middle of a swarm of bees. You know, you figure you've got 10,000 or more bees swarming around you, and you've got the humming, and they're discussing with you. They really don't care that you're there, as long as you're not there to hurt them. You know, they're just all over you, and it's just it's quite an experience.
That is fascinating. And I'm curious, when you first started, how was that transition? Where now, of course, you know their behavior, you know how comfortable and what you enjoy, but what was it like for you at first that you had to even learn, oh wait, this is how I commune with them, this is what's going on?
It took some time to get the feel and understand how the hive worked. At first, there's a little bit of fear. You know, sure. You're always putting on the suit. You're always acting a certain way. And, you know, later on, you realize if you just go up to them and you're gentle and you work with that hive, you don't always have to do that. I'm not a guy that smokes his hive, because if you're slow and methodical with your work with the hive, you can get in and out of it without too much of an issue, as long as you're not disturbing them, you know, excessively. But and the whole reason that I got into it is, the more that I read, is bees are important for our survival, and that I became
learning that lately, that they are essential to.
They're essential.
Yep.
Yeah, they're essential, and that the backyard beekeeper is helping bees survive. And I became a 4-H leader. I actually do extractions in that. beekeeping, like Be Kind, different companies around, Western Farm, refer me if somebody's got a hive of bees that's in their wall in their home or something like that. A lot of times I'll come and take them out and relocate them.
Instead of killing them.
Yeah, instead of killing them. So, it's something that I enjoy. It's a hobby. I had fun getting a bunch of kids started with bees and, doing the whole project.
Yep. I noticed you said it took a little bit of time for you to work out how the hive works and the energy around the hive. I would imagine it's the same when you've got a team or a whole bunch of realtors that you're leading, observing and sensing that energy. So you've led a lot of people over the years, Randy. What have you learned about getting the best out of another human being, not managing them, but actually helping them become better?
You need to find out about the individuals. It's like whether I was coaching the school's girls basketball teams or my son's soccer team. It's trying to learn different things about each individual, trying to learn what makes them tick, because everybody's a little bit different. It's how to take those different personalities and make a team out of it that can be successful. And that might mean that you mix these people together and have them team up and take this group and just understanding the personalities, but hearing them, take the time to listen.
And isn't that so interesting? Because people just want to know that they've been heard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that not just the manager, because sometimes it's easy to be a manager. To be a leader is a whole different concept of hearing them and showing what I call tactical empathy, not sympathize, because that means you sort of get sucked down that rabbit hole with them. But empathy, meaning I understand how you feel. I hear you. Let's work for a solution together. And I've seen you do that so many times. Yeah.
I compliment you because you use the word empathy. And I don't think in today's society that people take the time to have empathy in their relationships with other people. Everybody's quick. Our attention span is, dwindled to 0.3 of a second.
Everyone's on their agenda.
Yeah. And trying to get that and understand where they're coming from is so important. And that just takes it doesn't take a lot of time. It takes a little bit of time.
I was just having this discussion in another show today, and it was fantastic. And we were discussing the difference between reacting and responding, because responding can be so much more thought out and respectful, even if you disagree, or even if it's a difficult conversation. Reacting is always going to have that primary emotion on the top of it, and that may not always send the right message in leadership. What are your thoughts on that, Randy?
Well, it's funny that you say that. Say this right now, because I just had a talk with one of my real estate agents actually yesterday about this. And one of my great mentors of Harry Pauly and Dave Mattson set me down one time when I was like, I need to talk to you right now because there's this issue. And he sat me down and he goes, breathe. And then after the breathe thing, he said, what I want you to think about is this issue is going to be here 2 hours from now. It's probably going to be here tomorrow. Take your time, find a solution, and then move forward. But don't do a knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
And it was incredible advice, because we do, and in real estate, people always feel that the sky's crumbling. If that escrow is going to close. Yeah, and it's like, slow up.
Yes.
Let's think it out. Let's think it out before we call our customer and get them wigged out about it. Let's see what the solutions are before we overreact and just act like a knee jerk that it has to be done right now, because it doesn't. Most real estate things we can take our time and we can find the solutions.
How many times have you seen something go sideways or have a delay or possibly an even worse outcome on a transaction because a professional chose to be reactionary?
I often say it's very rarely the client makes an issue that we can't handle. A lot of the times it's agents that get in their own way for a transaction. They're making decisions they shouldn't. They need to sit back, take a look at it and go, okay, is this really this person's fault? Or again, they're not solution oriented. They're reactionary, as you brought up.
Yeah. And Randy, the tactical empathy that we spoke about a few minutes ago, it's almost like your clients on this side of the street with all their fears. Should I wait? Is now's the right time? The interest rates are too high. Should I invest now and refinance later? They've got all these fears, geopolitical, war in Iran, and you're across the road. Tactical empathy means, and not being reactionary, means crossing the road to stand where they're standing and see the world through their eyes, right? Then when you understand and you're understanding, you're responding to understand rather than just for the sake of responding. And then say, are you open to another professional opinion? I now understand. I'm sure the world changes at that point, right?
It does. And, you bring up something else as you were just speaking. One of the weakest things I think real estate agents have gotten into the habit of doing is not picking up their phone, not giving a call. If what I try to tell an agent is when you're worked up and you're upset about something, I can guarantee your client is worse off than where you are. They're feeling the same way. And the only way to deal with that is not a text, is not an email, is pick up your phone. Have a conversation. That's why people still use real estate agents, and Bill Gates didn't take over real estate in 1992. They want a live person to deal with. And so pick up your phone, have a conversation, ease them out. Go, I understand how you're feeling right now, but let's take a look. There's a couple of different angles we give. Yes. Give me a couple of hours and I'll get back to you. We'll have a
high amount of situations, real estate is an emotional transaction as much as it is a financial transaction.
Exactly.
But they are making an emotional decision on location, on the school district, on a connection with that home, or a this or that, or letting go of the home. All of those things. It's one of those industries that has so much emotion attached to it. And so I feel that there should be a next level of almost that emotional intelligence training for real estate and lending professionals to understand that as they deal then with the dynamics of an already complex contract in business to get it to the close in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Amy, thank you for reminding me about that. That is so true, because we often get so involved and down in the weeds. Like science and data make you think, but feelings make you act, right? So we shoot out all these facts about how much we know about lending or real estate, and they might think we're intelligent, but it doesn't move them into action until you really listen and hear them. And Randy, you've been doing this for more than 40 years. You've seen extraordinary markets, difficult markets, great markets disappear, ordinary agents become exceptional. What disappoints you about our industry today, and what still excites the hell out of you about it?
Wow, you started at 5?
Well, yeah. No, I was actually 12. I'll admit to it.
All right. I was doing the math, and it was just okay. Thank you.
I had to get an exception on my license, so it just happened that way. I think what disappoints me is, one, agents don't pick up the phone. They don't have conversations with other agents. I mean, I have gotten offers emailed to me, and I happen to be looking at my email, which I do maybe twice a day. I try to do it just twice a day. I'm not a guy that sits in front of the computer. I'm moving and talking to people. But they'll send you an offer, and they won't even follow up to call you to tell you they sent it to you.
Oh, good.
I mean, to me, that is so unprofessional, but it is not uncommon. And pick up and have a conversation with the other agent. Your responsibility is to sell that other agent on the offer, no matter if you think it's a good offer or not. Your responsibility is to protect your consumer, and you need to pick up the phone and sell that other agent on the offer that you wrote. Period. End of story. Call the agent before you write the offer. Have a discussion with them in regards to, hey, what is your seller looking for? And mysteriously enough, that offer that you wrote seems to have everything that seller was requesting when it's sent to the other agent. These are things that agents don't do. They're on to the next deal. They hope things stick as they write them. They hope they stick instead of going, hey, when I write that offer, my buyer is serious about this house. I need to put our best foot forward for my consumer, but also something that is going to be accepted by the seller. And I don't see a lot of that. I see agents not, there's a lot of different designs of companies now. I don't see a lot of supervision. I'm not seeing a lot of, there's the right wrong in regards to how people behave in the business.
Oversight, like where is the leadership and communication oversight?
Exactly. I mean, there's a company out there that has one broker, one manager for all of the state of California. And, they're writing offers. They don't know what they're writing. It gives us a bad reputation in the business. And it's, some of these models just do not have the supervision that I think the consumer deserves.
How can this training be put back into just the standard real estate learning and practice? Does this go back to the beginning, like, or part of the continued ed training? How can leaders start educating younger agents coming into this is how this is done and this is the non-negotiable?
Well, I think what's happened is it's funny. Years ago, I sold a fairly large ranch, and I was in with my sellers, and they go, "You're going to make a lot of money on this deal, Randy." And I said, "Well, I don't know what I'm going to make." And they started laughing. They go, "Really?" And the escrow officer jumped in and goes, "No, I can tell you, Randy has not a clue what he's going to make on this deal." And they asked me later, they go, "Why?" And I said, if I knew what I would make, I might put the paycheck in front of my client. And I never want to put my paycheck in front of my representation. And I think so many people are they're looking at their percentage that they're retaining in their transaction on their retained dollar versus that, there's other models of companies that have training and have managers at each one of their offices and
mentorship.
But that cost. So you're not going to get the bigger commission split, but what you're going to do is you're going to learn how to do it right. And you're going to have
right. You're going to do it longer.
And you're going to do it longer. You're going to do it longer.
Yep.
My first year in the business, you'll laugh. I sold exotic birds before I got into real estate.
Oh, I love it. We're getting to the animals. Okay.
And when I had told everybody, and I raised boxer dogs. I had some really wonderful boxers, really a breed that I love. They just don't live long enough. But in my first year of real estate, I sold 22 homes. And only one of those came from a floor call. 21 closed escrows, only 2 buyers in those closed escrows. Everything else was listings, came from either bird people or dog people. And so people followed me from what I did before because of how I behaved in the way I did business before to my new business and my new career.
Boom.
Yep. Randy, there's somebody listening to us who's been in real estate for 2 or 3 years, and right now they're wondering whether they've made a terrible mistake. And they're tired, they're discouraged, the phone isn't ringing enough, and they're watching everyone else appear to be so successful on social media. They're sitting across the table from you right now, Randy. What do you tell them?
One of the things in the office that I manage here in Petaluma is one of the top 20 offices in the state of California, one of the top 100 in the nation for C21. So I'm very proud of that. Yep. I didn't mean to throw out the brand to you there, but
no, I did. That was brilliant.
It's one of the things that's unique about this office, and we lost a lot of this in COVID, is the people here come to work. The top producers are here every day. My top producing young agents, I've got 3 young agents. Rachel, Matt, and Jonathan, they show up to work.
Love it.
They go and do. They don't expect the phone to ring. They understand. And I love these companies that are saying, oh, we'll give you leads. We'll give you leads. You know what? The leads that you're going to get are the ones that you earn, that you go after yourself. Yes. And those agents, we had an open house contest for 2 months, and I gave awards to that. We did 86 open houses in 2 months in this office with 30 agents.
Wow.
One of my young agents, within his first 30 days, did open house. He would do 2 a weekend. Sometimes he did 4 a weekend. He would do different time slots. He took a person that walked into an open house on a commercial building, sold him that commercial building within his first 30 days. That guy fixed that property up and resold it through him and his partner again. You know, they show up to work. They do the things that they need to do. They don't sit there and wait for that phone to ring. They go out and they look for the business. The things that work are, a lot of people are old school. This is still about communication. This is still about interaction. And he is going out to open houses, and even with the new buyer representation and stuff, he's still finding those 1 or 2 people that aren't represented, and they're using him for his real estate, their purchases in that. And it's about meeting people. What better than doing open houses, door knocking, whatever, to be able to create real estate conversations.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I hope those 2 young agents are listening to these words. Well, you'll send it on to them. That is,
well, actually, I there's 2 more. Rachel and Danielle are both, they're all kicking it. Katrina, Ashley, I've got some young people that are going to work. They're showing up and they're doing what they need to do, where they can be in front of people and have conversations.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. A lead will give you a paycheck, but those relationships will feed you for a lifetime, right?
Yes.
Exactly. And you know that the thing that people don't think about is it's good practice. Just when people are coming in, whether they're represented or not, you're learning to create real estate conversations and sharpen your trade, right? Yeah. And I tell people, if you want real estate to happen, do real estate activities. That could be direct mail outs. That could be doing social media. That could be doing, door knocking, open houses, whatever. And your business might come from being in line at Safeway, but real estate activities create real estate. Might not come from the action that you're doing, but if you're doing the action, you're creating an aura around yourself that you're in business, right?
What do you advise on your team on buyer education? Do they do educational, like first time buyer information or seminars or workshops or anything like that?
Yeah, we have workshops. We have an assorted amount of different trainings and stuff. And so agents, that's the other thing that I see is people get in the business and they don't take advantage of trainings, whether it's outside training, going to one of Roger's classes, going on our online, going and seeing a professional coach. I've had a couple professional coaches in real estate in my career, and it was wonderful. It helped direct me. It gave me ideas, and not enough people take advantage of that. I have to say, one of the changes, there used to be a lot more live sales type presentations you could go to that weren't Zoom and that, but you could actually go to them locally. And I try to tell people, they go, I got nothing out of it. And I go, then you didn't pay attention, because you only need one thing you can turn into your own to help you get 1 or 2 more transactions.
Yes, that's the truth.
Right. Absolutely right. And you and I have agreed over the years, and I've heard Amy say it, sometimes one thing changes everything. Just be listening out for that one thing. To have a little balanced perspective, and this is a sort of a wild card question, Randy, before we get to, towards the end here. You've spoken about the new agents and the good old-fashioned ways of doing things. What would you tell the experienced agent who's doing okay, but knows they're capable of much more?
I kind of look at myself as like a Montessori school teacher. I want to take a look when I have that conversation with an experienced agent. I want to see where they got their business. I'm going to ask them, do you know where you've got your business? Has 80% of your business come from referrals? Has 80% of your business come from your email follow-ups or your mail outs, or what are you doing that's brought you business? So I want that experienced agent to really break down their business. But it amazes me how many experienced agents really don't know where their business has come from.
Oh my goodness. That's essential in any industry. You have to know where your business is coming from, so you can adjust and analyze and say, okay, I want to put more into that or less into this, right?
Yeah, but it surprises me that a lot of experienced agents couldn't say, no, I get 60% of my business from my referral network. They don't have those percentages. But if we find those percentages, and I go, one of the other things that Dave Mattson hit me when I asked him for a commission raise when I was a new agent, in my first year in the business, Randy said, let me tell you about real estate. Your raise is effective when you are. And that so sunk into me because it is so true. If you want to raise in this business, go earn it. That means, have another real estate conversation and turn it into a closed escrow. But, looking at the experienced agent is if we find out what they're doing and going, well, you're putting 80% of your effort into this 10% of return. Why don't we take a look at the percentage of time that you're utilizing and let's devote that and move that to what does work for you. Right. So analyzing what does work for them, it amazes me too that they tend to spend a lot of energy on the non-productive part of their real estate careers instead of putting that energy toward, what works for them.
Yep.
Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely, Randy. Absolutely. And there was a study that was released recently, and you are highlighting the difference between a realtor who sees themselves as a salesperson or as a business person, an entrepreneur, owner of their own business. And nationwide, it appears that the percentage of the way most realtors live their day, 31% is running errands, 29% endeavoring to create content on social media, which they don't get paid for, 18% doing emails, 19% doing admin. And here was the absolute coup de grace, and the percentages may be slightly off. 3% of their day having conversations with clients. And exactly why we fall behind, right?
Exactly. When my first year in management for Coldwell Banker, I had an agent who owns his own company now up in Healdsburg. And Michael was just the most wonderful, gregarious, he was an actor in Southern Cal, and he was in real estate. And he showed me, he goes, he had it. Now that we're dating me now because he had index cards. So he had all these people on index cards, and he had all these things to go. And I said, Michael, do you have a license to sell real estate? And he's like, yeah, Randy, yeah, I've got a license to sell real estate. And I said, go out and sell real estate. Quit getting ready to get ready. And, there was so much prep work, and it was so funny. It was like he looked at me and like I hit him with a hammer, and Michael ended up so successful, but he was getting ready to get ready.
He was getting ready to get ready.
He was doing what you said. He was doing all those things to, admin stuff instead of having conversations.
Yeah, that's right. It's good enough
to say hi to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely right. My wonderful colleague, Amy, do I have time to ask Randy one more question?
Oh, yes, because we definitely need one more question on this, and we've got to make sure we leave a few minutes to discuss all of the animals. I want the full list. So,
all right.
We go long. You guys are going to stay with us. If you're watching,
because I love Randy. We learn so much from him. That's so good. Yep. So Randy,
that's the dessert I'm waiting for right there.
I promise I'll get there. So Randy, you've accomplished a lot, but I don't get the sense you're remotely finished. You've got your two beautiful daughters and a son. the beautiful Christy, your fiance, travel, your community, your friends, your work, and hopefully a few more bees, right? When you look at the next chapter of Randy Coffman's life, what are you most excited about that hasn't happened yet?
Wow. You know, I'm traveling more than I have in the past, which I'm enjoying. It's been hard to get me to leave work because I love what I do. It's who I am. You know, I had, as you know, a pretty big hurdle a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And you know, that didn't slow me down that much. It slowed me down, but you know, for a lot of different reasons. I'm just not at the point of thinking of retirement. I love what I do. I love seeing agents be successful. You know, I love helping people buy and sell property. You know, it's funny. I have a friend that owns. She did own. She sold it, but Redwood Hills Goat Dairy, known worldwide, and some people from New Zealand bought it from her. And she was Sonoma County's best businesswoman. And one time we would sell our goats that didn't make our show string for me and my daughters to dairies because they're milk goats. And I sold to a dairy, and he goes, well, I really need 1,000 head. So I called Jennifer up and go, hey, do you know anybody that has like 1,000 head of goats? And she starts laughing at me because she's actually has me set up to, if something happens to her, I will sell her property for her. And she said, yeah, there's a dairy going out of business in Idaho. Do you want their phone number? And I said, sure. So I called the guys up and I said, okay, I'm looking for 1,000 head. I called the dairy that wanted 1,000 head. I found you 1,000 head. I made $10. I made $10 a goat. Didn't touch a goat. And Jennifer just laughed. She goes, "You will sell anything, won't you?" And I said, yeah. I just love doing the deal, you know, and that's why I don't really pay attention to the dollars and cents of it. Probably should more so than I do. I just love putting things together. I love people telling me you can't do it and figuring out a way to do it. And
Roger, that was a great example of using your data bank.
Yeah, yeah,
that's exactly right. And Randy, so allied to that, what would your daughters and your son, what would they say they've learned about how to live their life by watching their dad?
I would say that they've learned work ethic. And that get up every day, no matter how challenging the day might be, but get up every day and show up. And if I've taught them anything, is to be honest, do the right thing, and show up. If that's the lesson I've given my kids, then I feel that I've won. You know, because I just see so many people now quitting on themselves, giving up, making excuses, and you know, not giving their all. And yeah, so
that's beautiful.
I think that would be it.
Beautiful. It is beautiful.
It's the truth. I'm a mama too. It's the truth. All mine are adults now, and like that's exactly what I would want for them too.
Yeah, it's important to show up and to be there and to support people, even if it costs you at times. It's, you know, you do the right thing.
You're investing in them.
Yeah, so good, so good. Randy, again, speaking for myself, I always learn from you, and Amy and I always discuss afterwards how we grow as individuals when we sit with people like you. We truly grow, and that
we got the best part of this. Don't we? Roger and I, we get all these golden nuggets. We get all of this goodness, and we get to take it and add it to who we are, and say, "Wow, I can take that on. I can do that too." And maybe I was doing it somewhat, but now I could do it even better. And so we learn. We are so blessed to be able to do this and to meet with you like this, Randy, and say, "Wow, okay," because now a part of your story becomes a part of our story.
Like you said, it's just one thing, you know, right? It's just one. If we get one thing out of any conversation that we have with people, then and that we can use and turn into our own, it's a benefit.
I love it. All right, bees, goats, and birds. What else do we got?
I used to
Oh,
breed
dogs.
Arabian horses and dogs, and tried fish in college, and that was a disaster. But chickens. Now I've got a lot of exotic birds.
So now you still have the birds and you still have the bees. Anything else? The birds and the bees.
We still have some of our goats that they're elderly ladies now, but we have some goats. We had a guardian llama, but he was 20 some years old, and we lost him recently.
Oh,
But yeah, so no cows, no horses right now. Chickens, and yeah. So
I'm going to call you the real estate Doolittle.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
pretty much. No,
Yeah.
I had many a call from my agents. Randy, what do we do with these sheep, or what do we do with this? And I go, I'll find a home for them. So, and my daughters save everything. My son isn't like that, but my anything that's abandoned or has to be a home needs to be found. They are passionate about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
So, Amy, as we listen to Randy speak there, Randy just always reminds me, he's a man of the earth. He's just a man of the land. And if you visit him on his ranch, he's not behind the screen looking at Zillow or doom scrolling. He is hands in the earth, making it happen. And he'll shout, "Hey, I'll be there in a second. Grab a glass of water." He's just harmonious with the universe. And it just so reminds me, if you look at a pride of lions, you look at a herd of elephants, you look at the sweeping swallows, the birds, they all show up and they move together and they communicate. They're not, "Hey, I didn't get the memo, so I'm not doing anything." That's right. Those animals know what's going on, right? And Randy knows what's going on with the energy of the universe. It's just fabulous.
Well, it's clear. I can see it in your entire energy and how you represent yourself, your passion for your family, your business, for other people. This is why you're an exceptional leader. And we're so lucky to know
We're lucky
you.
to have had you.
Like, I can say you're my friend now.
Ditto.
My friend Randy. That's it.
Ditto. I love it. Looking forward to meeting you someday.
Oh, I know. I'm going to make the trip up there and watch out. So everybody will have full warning when I'm coming to town. So you kind
of like me. They hear me before they see me. I do have a question. I see a guitar and a record in glass there.
Yes, so, I'm a touring recording artist. I don't tour at this time, but over the years, I've had just an incredible career in the music industry as a country recording artist, and opened for some of the biggest names in country music, and performed for our military and veteran for many years as a spokesperson for AMVETS. And I released my last album in 2022. And so that behind me is the hit song called "What If It All Goes Right?" And it's just been an incredible journey that's been woven in to the other things, which makes me just a very eclectic, unique creature.
It's wonderful. When I couldn't find a job when I first went to Sac State, I was 17, and I got a job at Fuller Brush, and I sold door to door. And my sale, I was in the top 400 in sales in the country, and I was the youngest unit manager in the country for Fuller Brush. And my sales were off, and my division manager, who actually made, way back then, he was making 60 to 70,000 a year. He decided to go door to door with me. He would get in a house, and he would find something in a house, and he would point it out and start a conversation. And that was just so unique, and I follow that line.
I love it.
To this day. The other thing he did is he would start writing up things to sell people stuff, and he would just stop. And I remember walking out with him and go, you could have sold this person more. And he goes, "Never sell anybody too much. Sell them what they can afford, or they're going to cancel your transaction as soon as you leave." And
what a great lesson.
Going back to my roots in sales and seeing that, I was just fascinated because I knew there was a story there. So that's
the story.
What I've learned about you.
Yeah. Well, when the industry collapsed in 2008, I was in wholesale, and so I took the same sales skills. I had 4 mouths to feed and a mortgage, and I was always a performer. So I took the same skills, and I went out and asked for the business as a recording artist. And I went out to tour and got the bookings. And 6 months later, I opened for Clint Black as my first national stage, because I knocked on the door. I asked to speak at the marketing manager, and I didn't take no for an answer. And I said, "You will put me on that stage for that 4th of July show." And they did. The rest is
That surprises me that she didn't take no for an answer. That's a shocker.
So that was pretty cool. What was fun is when I got the call that I was going to get that first big show with Clint Black, they said that they left a post-it on the desk of the person to make the call and said, hire her, she's tenacious. And so I've always held
That's
on to
awesome.
that.
You just brought something else up that people, there's a reason why 73% of agents aren't making any money this year.
They don't ask for the business.
They don't ask for the business. I have heard the best people that can start conversations and they never trial close. They never, ever get to the point of asking for the business. And the people just get exhausted from them. They love talking to them, but they just get exhausted and they move on, right?
Right.
And it just happens so much. So no,
good for you. The business, and it's in any industry, and we always have to be ready to shift. And in our industry, sometimes we have to be ready to shift. And that was my shift, and it ended up being one of the most amazing, beautiful 7-year shifts of my life. So
that's just incredible. Look at what I've learned about you just today. We are friends.
We are friends. Oh my goodness, Roger, always. I'm telling you, my data bank from just being plugged into Roger's data bank is just explosive. It's just explosive.
He's a pretty amazing human being.
He really is.
We're lucky to have him as our friend.
Yes. Well,
Thanks,
you are now in this community. I guarantee we will have you back on this show. So because we'll ask, you already know that. I'm going to ask. But feel free to ask as well. If you have something like on your mind, like, gosh, I really want to talk about this, say, hey, we'll just turn this on. It doesn't even matter what day of the week it is. Yes. It's always yes. So thank you.
Awesome. Sounds
so
awesome.
much, Randy, for being a part of this show today.
Thank you. This has been really enjoyable.
Your wisdom, your intellect. And if you're following this show, this is what this is about. Real people with real stories of helping real people, right? Whether you are a real estate agent, whether you are a homeowner and you were watching this, whether you are a lending professional, whether you're in any industry, this entire conversation wrapped around real people doing the right thing and helping real people. And that's what we're here to do. Every time we turn on this camera and say, we're bringing you a show, this is what we're bringing you, real interactions. Thank you for following us. Please share, please like, please subscribe, and we will see you on the next Between Escrows.